According to the Times of Israel article dated August 11, 2021, Israel hosted U.S. Central Intelligence Agency Chief William Burns Tuesday for talks focused on Iran, with Jerusalem reporting attempting to deter any American rapprochement with Tehran by presenting Iran's new president as a deranged misfit. Officials gave no details of the agenda for the CIA's chief's talks in Israel, but the Walla news site reported that Burns planned to meet with Prime Minister Neftali Bennet, Mossad spy agency head David Barnes, and other senior intelligence figures. During the meeting with Barnes, Mossad officials presented Burns with information intending to show Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi as untrustworthy and incapable of negotiating a new nuclear deal or sticking to his commitments, Channel 12's news reported. According to the channel, Barnes gave Burns a dossier on Raisi that portrayed him as exponentially extreme, cruel, corrupt, and unstable. The Mossad described him as someone with mental disturbances, the channel claimed in an unsourced report. Raisi, a hardline former judiciary head who was Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei's choice for the role, has been accused of ordering the execution of thousands of prisoners toward the end of the Iran-Iraq War in 1988, in which Iraq was supported by the United States at the time. He took office on Thursday, taking over for Hassan Rouhani, a relative moderate who agreed to a landmark deal in 2015 that curbed Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. Burns, a career diplomat, played a key role in the U.S. rapprochement with Iran that led to the deal between Iran and major powers. U.S. President Joe Biden has sought to rejoin the pact after former President Donald Trump withdrew it in 2018. Israel opposes the deal, and government officials have held successive rounds of talks with U.S. counterparts on nuclear negotiations. The visit by Burns comes amid what analysts have called a shadow war that has seen a spate of attacks on facilities in Iran and maritime vessels linked to Israel. Last month, the MIT Mercer Street, an oil products tanker operated by Israel-controlled Zodiac Maritime, was struck by a drone off the Omani coast, killing 2 crew members. G7 foreign ministers on Friday pointed the finger of blame for the attack at Iran, as the U.S. military released the findings of an investigation alleging that drones were made in the Islamic Republic. Iran has dismissed all allegations. According to the Wall Street Journal, Iran nukes the case for a Biden deal, and its rulers see little advantage in rejoining an agreement the U.S. can reverse at will. Written by Walter Russell Mead. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has no intention of ending up like Mikhail Gorbachev by ruthlessly engineering the election of a hardliner's hardliner to the presidency. Mr. Khamenei has slammed the door on normalization and nailed it shut. It's only one of the problems afflicting the Joint Comprehensive Action Plan. Instead of welcoming the Biden administration's eagerness to return to President Obama's Iran policy, Tehran has turned up its nose at American attempts to chart a course back to mutual compliance with the terms of the deal. The ease with which President Trump was able to dump the JCPOA and the inability of outraged Europeans to contest his imposition of unilateral sanctions created a healthy skepticism in Iran about the deal's value. Tehran has realized that an executive agreement like the JCPOA has no legal force in the United States. It is not simply that a future president could follow Mr. Trump's footsteps and reject a nuclear deal. President Biden could sign the JCPOA one week and impose American sanctions on whatever grounds he chooses the next, and Iran would have no recourse. U.S. Central Intelligence Agency William Burns, besides holding talks on Israel on Tuesday and today on Wednesday, will be talking about Iran high on their agenda. What else is new? The statement said he met on Tuesday with David Barnea, the new head of Israel's Mossad intelligence agency, to discuss Iran's nuclear program and other regional challenges to the country itself. Absent regarding this meeting was Saudi Arabia, an antagonist to Iran for decades. What the United States needs to do is work on a foreign policy program that involves the Persians and alienates one between Israel and Saudi Arabia on the Gulf. It seems that Saudi Arabia and the Gulf, along with Israel, as well as the United States coalition, have been the antagonists to not only Iran, but to many other countries in the region, including Iraq, Libya, and Syria. In fact, during the Syrian civil war, it's the United States who were supporting Salafist fundamentalists through a covert operation headed by former U.S. President Barack Obama in Operation Timber Sycamore, which used the CIA and the Gulf to train and fund numerous jihadist organizations in helping to usurp President Bashar al-Assad of Syria. What will they do to antagonize the country of Iran? Well, you're witnessing it through economic sanctions and harsh repercussions coming from it. While the country itself is under turmoil, they're trying to quell. Don't be surprised if the CIA, Mossad, and the Mukhabarat are heavily involved with causing internal turmoil, which leads to civil war inside the country. We don't need another war. What we need is more regional hegemony, something the United States is not accustomed to conducting.